Welcome back, YouTubers. It's us, the British Fist, back here with a Monday Night Raw review. NJ, what are we again?
We are the British Fist. Ka-ching.
And who am I, NJ?
You're Mr. Parkin.
And you're NJ.
What's up?
Indeedly doodly. Make sure you guys subscribe up above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on Raw down in that comment section below.
And please contact us in the links in the Gooch box below.
Definitely so. Now, right after we just had that Night of Champions pay-per-view, we have 2 weeks, yes, 2 weeks, NJ, to hype to the next Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Can WWE do it tonight? We will find out, of course. And we had a guest star tonight as well, didn't we, NJ? Hugh Jackman. Oof. Why do we get it tonight when we have only 2 weeks to hype for this fucking pay-per-view, eh?
Oh, bad idea. Bad idea.
Yeah, it really was, considering some of the segments we actually got, which had nothing to do with the pay-per-view. Who did we open with tonight, though?
We start off with CM Punk.
Yay! CM Punk opens, and he basically talks about the conspiracy in WWE, saying, basically joining this whole Ms. Truth bandwagon. And then your man comes out.
Triple H comes out, and again, CM Punk doesn't really get enough time to open up and get the crowd going. Triple H comes out and just basically makes this future match for Night Champion.
Yes, we get Cena versus Del Rio versus Punk in a Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell. Now, while I do like this match, I just feel that whilst Del Rio is entitled to a rematch, I think they've just done this rematch with Punk too late. He lost the title at SummerSlam. He should have got his rematch afterwards, and that was one big problem I thought with this whole title changing thing in the tournament. And I just think it's come a little bit late, but I'm glad he's getting his rematch though. Triple Threat Hell in a Cell should be okay, I guess.
Well, as much as I think Punk does deserve his rematch, I'm looking at this now thinking, you have Punk in a feudy thing with Kevin Nash and Triple H. So to get also involved in this whole John Cena and Del Rio, it's just combining too much rivalries in another match again.
Yeah, it's almost like they're holding it off until someone like a Kevin Nash can come back, isn't it, really?
I guess that's the only logical idea behind this, yeah.
Then we get John Laurinaitis coming out. Basically, the whole thing is there's this whole power struggle between Laurinaitis and Triple H says he's going to fire someone later tonight, which really reminisces of Vince McMahon there.
It's like he's abusing his power because he's done it to Kevin Nash and now he's going to do it again to someone else later tonight.
Yeah, so the question is, are Triple H and Punk on the same page here? We still haven't established the heel, we still haven't established the face. That's confusing me at the moment. Your thoughts on the opener, just generally?
Well, again, they had to be a bit quick hyping up or giving us a match for the pay-per-view, so basically we got that, but again, I don't know, it weren't just the greatest of opener. It didn't really give us a feel for the rest of the night, so...
Didn't explain too much of Night of Champions either, did it? But there we go.
No, that's not a problem.
The first match of the night we get is Sheamus, Justin Gabriel and Air Boom versus Christian, Wade Barrett, Otunga and McGillicuddy in a 4.5-minute 8-man tag match. You had all the combination of the feuds there. What did you think of this match? I just feel that a lot of these people, like Air Boom, really did deserve a segment on their own. Christian and Sheamus deserved a segment on their own. It's all combined into one, and it was all one big clusterfuck, really, wasn't it?
I did find it kind of hard to get into because obviously all the wrestlers were going at each other. It weren't like building on their feud, apart from the Christian Sheamus at the end. But throughout the match, there weren't really a feeling of why these wrestlers were against each other. I just didn't find it much entertaining. No,
it really wasn't. Sheamus gets the pin, I guess, looking strong, but the one thing is you just have your tag team's champions stuck in this, and it's just like, you know, it didn't really accomplish much for us, in my opinion. You ready to move on to the next match?
We'll go to the next match now.
Well, the next match was a bit of a squash match. Alberto Del Rio versus John Morrison in a 1-minute squash match. Now, didn't we see this match on Raw about a month back when Del Rio just first won the title? Just saying.
Yeah, again, I don't think there's much of the people that Del Rio could have faced. So for him to go up against Mr. Buried Alive, John Morrison, was really the only real wrestler he could have gone against.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind WWE using like old-fashioned jobber matches. I'm all for them because it makes Del Rio look stronger in his debut. But use a jobber. Don't use someone like John Morrison who's just involved in your US title match at the pay-per-view. I'm just saying, like, I know he's Mr. Buried Alive now, but I still don't think he should be used as a jobber. I'm just my opinion, personal opinion.
Yeah, the match didn't really do much justice because a minute doesn't really show their skills and that. And obviously, the other problem I had was Del Rio was getting involved in something that weren't anything to do with Cena. So I just thought
that's a good point.
That was a bit of a pull away thing.
Yeah. We then get a segment with Hugh Jackman talking about his movie, movie product placement, I guess. We then get Vicky and Dolph come out for some reason, and I'm just like, why have you done this whole thing with Ziggler and Hugh Jackman? Ziggler needs his own segment to hype for a US title match, And it's just like, you know, why are they even doing this segment? It's just a waste of fucking precious pay-per-view hype time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more about Hugh Jackman presenting his film, and I'm just really not thinking that it was needed, because obviously it's WWE related. It should be a follow-on from the pay-per-view, and Hugh Jackman's not a follow-on from the pay-per-view.
Which we have in 2 weeks' time. I'm just saying. Basically, this whole segment was done to set up a Zack Ryder Dolph Ziggler match later on in the night, which didn't need any hype, because if you just put these two in a random match together, I would understand. This match doesn't need hype, does it? And it just seemed like a really stupid way of bringing in the guest host when really you should be hyping to the pay-per-view. I mean, it's just fucked. It's just saying. I mean, it's just, I'm looking at this objectively. It sucked.
Yeah, I really did like how this was going. Again, another segment where I just thought, right, you're not actually giving us a positive feeling for Raw or even a build to anything.
No, precious pay-per-view type gone there. Next we have Sin Cara versus Cody Rhodes. Or was it? Because after, like, nothing, both Sin Caras come out and have a stare down in the ring, and Cody Rhodes is just on the outside, as if he's got nothing to do with it. So that just kind of really doesn't do anything for your Intercontinental Champion. He's filler for a Sin Cara versus Sin Cara feud. Kind of like Daniel Bryan, the Money in the Bank winner is. It's like, what the fuck's going on?
I couldn't see this match working out anyway.
Same.
Like, Sin Cara, he still needs his wins, even if it did happen with Cody Rhodes. But I guess it did save it from happening. So it is building up this whole Sin Cara versus Sin Cara thing. So I guess it's done something okay.
It just, your IC champion gets lost in it. It's just like, wow, is this the best you can do for your Intercontinental Champion? You know, it's just another one of the segments where you're just like, meh. Are they going to do this at the pay-per-view? If they are, I guess I can understand it. But Cody Rhodes, again, buried in this segment. Just fucking stupid. Which, when you're an Intercontinental Champion, that's the last thing you need to be doing to this guy. Is that it? Is that what you got to say for that match?
Yeah, there weren't really much to it.
Well, it wasn't a match, was it? It was a segment, if anything else. They had a stare down in the ring, and that was it. And then we saw some botches, but there we go. That's Sin Cara versus Sin Cara for you. Backstage segment. Truth and Miz apologising to Triple H for hitting the referees and hitting Triple H in the main event. Wow, that really fucked up with their characters, didn't it, in my opinion? They're apologising. They're like, I'm sorry. That's fucked up with their characters hugely, in my opinion.
Well, the way I look at it is that they're heel characters. They knew they were doing it at the pay-per-view, and for them to come and apologise to the boss, I guess it just took a lot away from how they've been built and how they act. So I just thought it was disappointing for them too.
But we get our main event of the evening, Miz and Truth versus Punk and Cena. I guess with Punk and Cena being in the title match, this kind of made sense. And I was actually quite looking forward to this match because I think all four of these could put on a good tag team match. That's all I'll say about that.
It should be a good match when it comes to it.
Yeah. We then get a Mark Henry interview segment, and then it's announced that we got Orton versus Henry at Hell in a Cell, which is good because we needed matches when we only have 2 weeks of hype. We've got 2 matches now, which was good, wasn't it? At least they're announcing these, even if they weren't prominently featured on the segment, I guess.
I guess it did have that good benefit behind it, yes.
Yeah, but pretty much the gist of it is Mark Henry gives an interview talking about all his naysayers and how he wasn't high on JR's list. And I kind of like this. It tells a good story. And I just wonder, though, in Mark Henry's first act after winning the World Heavyweight Championship, he attacks some commentators. And while this does make him look strong, it also makes him look weak in a way because he's attacking commentators, for fuck's sake, especially after we just seen him dominate Orton. It just seems really underwhelming, doesn't it?
Yeah, of all the people he could have gone against, he did pick something that's not actually going to lead anywhere or build him up anywhere. If he had to wrestle during a match or a wrestler's not involved, it would have made more sense and made him more of a monster.
So it told a good story. It made him look dominant in some way, but it's attacking some commentators. Really, is that the first act? This is what Heavyweight Champion Mark Henry's going to do. I guess let the era of domination begin, and I hope it's a good era.
As he's a SmackDown wrestler, I'm expecting more from Mark Henry on SmackDown. So all I could say is, please keep building on Mark Henry.
Please do it, because he's something fresh in the main event scene, and we really do like it, unlike what they did with Dorio against Cena at Night of fucking Champions. But we'll move on from that. This is Raw, not Night of Champions. Go check out our Night of Champions review, by the way. We then have a Divas segment. Kelly and Eve Torres versus Beth Phoenix and Natalya. For like, how many times have we seen this now? Can WWE not have any variation in their Divas matches anymore, really? It's going back to the old shit, really, isn't it?
And the whole thing was about this is that you just had Beth Phoenix lose the pay-per-view, and it was on their night of a chance to get revenge. You don't really have them continuing that. I just thought it was poor. It was
really poor. It was also poor how Eve Torres got the win. It's like, why are you giving Eve Torres the win when she's not the champion, or it doesn't have anything to do with that title? It's like, oh, this segment sucked. I mean, the match wasn't even that good. It's like, you're supposed to be establishing Beth Phoenix and Natalya as dominant divas, and you're just really not doing it. And this segment, again, just sucked. It really did suck.
Like, as I said before, we need a good follow-on from pay-per-view, and this was Beth Phoenix's chance to actually squash or take down Kelly and Eve Torres. And yes, she gets in doing their half in the match, but not as strong as they could have done.
Exactly, yeah. Pretty much summed it up, that segment. We then get the match we were most fearing for, and that was Zack Ryder versus Dolph Ziggler. This went on for 3 minutes. You know, the ref sends away Zack Ryder, but at the end of the day, Zack Ryder beats the US champ, and it's just like, really, this is total fucking bullshit, isn't it? This was why the guest was brought in, for Zack Ryder to beat Dolph Ziggler, our US champ. Why?
Yeah, again, I think without Vicky being there, it did kind of try and make the match more interesting, but at the same time, it also cost Ziggler the match with Hugh Jackman getting involved, and I just thought, it just left a real bad taste. I know it got Zack Ryder in, but still, it just but Hugh Jackman had to get involved. I
imagine about 99% of the YWC would be loving this segment, but we didn't because we don't like Zack Ryder, because we just don't see the big deal about it, and we really do feel that you should use your wrestling skills and your ability to entertain in the ring and in the arena to get over rather than a YouTube show, but that's for another time.
And you seriously have our US champion losing to someone that doesn't hardly get involved in WWE and has awful matches lined up in mind for him.
Exactly, so let's hope this doesn't lead to Ryder getting the fucking US championship, please, because this segment was bullshit. You had a segment leading to this, and this segment didn't even do anything. You had a segment to build to this, and this was shit. The segment building to it was shit. The whole thing was shit. And I don't know why they needed to use 2 segments for this. It was fucking stupid.
And all I'm going to say now is, from everything that's happened in Raw, we get to the main event. So far at this point, we're thinking, you've given us an awful Raw, your last chance is the main event.
Yes, up until this point, I was really not entertained at all. It was boring. I was falling asleep. This was fucking really boring and didn't do too much for me. But we get to the main event, of course. Punk and Cena versus Miz and R-Truth. Now, while this Raw was pretty bad, I admit, I actually enjoyed this tag team match. I thought, to be honest, it was well worked. The one thing I didn't like, though, was you had the heels abiding the rules. When you're a heel tag team, you're supposed to be trying to bend the rules to get the baby faces over with the crowd. You're supposed to be trying to bend the rules, not abiding them. And it really fucked the match for me. It's like, you know, the match was good, but that really irritated me throughout the whole fucking match.
Again, I really think that the WWE are really doing wrong with R-Truth and Miz this last night. There's many things in here that don't really show them being strong heel characters. Yeah,
Miz and Truth dominated Cena. I like the way they dominated Cena as the heel tag team. I just wish they'd do a couple more, you know, really work a heel tag team match well. I guess at the end of the day, the match went 13 minutes, which was a good length of time. That was almost the amount of time combined for all the ring action prior to the main event, which was a fucking disgrace in my opinion. You're supposed to bring in a mixture of matches and promos, not just have a bunch of promos, but let's just stick to the main event. Sorry.
I'm going to say it's got Miz and R-Truth. I was expecting them to put on somewhat of a good fight against CM Punk, who they got involved with at the pay-per-view, and John Cena. I guess they had to have their power over John Cena because they had this whole conspiracy about him being up in the main event and not concentrating on them. So they're expecting there to be a good back and forth action between the two teams.
Yeah, we did get decent back and forth action for what I think it's just worked very well. In the end, Punk gets the pin. I guess this is kind of correct in the grand scheme of things because John Cena and Punk are in the main event. Punk kind of needs that win to push him into that main event after his loss to Triple H. So I guess that kind of made sense in the grand scheme of things. It's just the aftermath which I really wasn't very pleased with here.
Yeah, after the big build-up, the last few minutes of Raw brought it down even more than what the rest of the night already did.
Yeah, basically Triple H comes out after the match, after John Cena and CM Punk have won, and he fires Miz and R-Truth. Why? Why are you firing two very talented people on your roster? I know it's storyline people, but this is ridiculous. And then they attack him backstage, and then they send him out of the. Triple H and the security sends him out of the building. It's like, what the fuck is going on? This really hasn't explained anything to what's happened from Night of Champions.
No,
really, it's just what?
Again, out of all the things Triple H could have done to Miz and R-Truth throughout the night, maybe put them against harder wrestlers.
Find them $250,000.
I know, it just was really painful to see the two heels that have been built up brilliantly have been fired from the WWE.
Now, one thing I will say though, does this mean Triple H is going to be heel now? Even though he kind of seemed heel to me, but he's firing heels. It's like, I'm really confused with what WWE are trying to do with Triple H's character now. It's really confusing me a lot.
He's abusing his power. because he's done it to Nash, he's done it to them two now. I really don't know what Triple H is thinking.
They really need to establish either Triple H or Punk as a heel, and it's going to be Triple H in the grand scheme of things, I feel. Do you finish talking about it? You want to give your overall thoughts now? Or?
Overall thoughts. Again, I really weren't interested in this Raw. Another match that gave me a positive feeling. When I heard the main event, I thought, okay, this should hopefully save us, but came to the main event, and again, yes, we've got a match name for night Hell in a Cell, but again, I really just did not enjoy this Raw.
This Raw was shit. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at it objectively for what it is. It's not even a subjective opinion. This Raw was really shit. Just looking at it for what it was. A lot of the segments were pointless. It didn't help to the pay-per-view. 2 matches have been announced on pay-per-view, which is good, but we kind of needed more. We've only got 2 weeks to hype for this fucking pay-per-view. And this is the problem when you have a pay-per-view that's not very good, and then you have a pay-per-view 2 weeks later. Hyping for it is going to be very difficult. This Raw really wasn't very entertaining. It was very boring, apart from the main event and maybe bits of the Mark Henry segment. I really wasn't entertained throughout this whole Raw. I'm sorry, but I've got to give this Raw a really bad grade. I'm not in the best of moods at the moment for this Raw because it really made me feel bad. I'm giving it an F. I'm sorry, I don't care, NJ. I give this an F. It was really shit. I can't really think of anything good about this apart from the main event. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's left us with a not really good night for the end of our night, but I will say this. That has been it from the British Fist, Mr. Parkin, and me, NJ. Leave your thoughts about Raw and the build-up of Night Hell in a Cell in the comment section below. And that's left me to say one word. Goodbye.